Hey everyone, so today we're talking about the best length for the front of your hair. Now, I know, some of you may be thinking that the front may not be the most important part. The entire haircut is the most important part. The whole thing is important when it comes to your haircuts. But I've always said when it comes to your hair that the front is the focal point, right? You need to have a focal point of your hair. And for example, even with this mannequin right here, you can see this is the focal point, the very, very front. If you have a haircut where the front is, for example, say really, really, really short, like this, and everything else is longer, it's very unbalanced, it's just not gonna lay right, it's not gonna look right. The front of your hair needs to be the focal point of the entire haircut. This is what people see first thing face on. They see you, your eyes, your face, and also the front of your hair. If you walked around with a hairstyle that literally was up this high, that's what they're gonna notice. So why is the length, and what's the best length for your hair in the front? Well, obviously it depends on your hairstyle. Even for this one, right? Even for this hairstyle, this may be considered too long for some people. But at the same time, this may be a perfect length and it may look somewhat short, but believe it or not, this goes all the way down to here. So the point is that the front of your hair, in my opinion, always needs to be slightly longer than everything else in the haircut, because if it's not cut, if it's cut too short and all this is a lot longer, it's not going to lay right. Now, it obviously depends on the hairstyle that you have, right? That definitely plays a big role in the entire thing. But let's just say this, for example, right? This, as you can see in the sides here, because this hair is so long, and follow along what I do here, I'm gonna take this and pull this back. It goes all the way back here. Now watch when I let go. It's staying there. Now this hair really doesn't have any products or nothing. It's just pretty much all natural here. When I slick this back, watch what happens, okay? It's going to stay here in place. See all these layers right here? They fall in place right here. Now, what's gonna happen is if it's too short, it's just gonna all fall forward this way. It's not gonna lay right. It's not gonna have the proper balance. All that kind of stuff, as you can see it through here, right? The length in the very, very front is what's going to help keep all of this hair somewhat back like this. It's gonna help keep the flow going because the weight of the front is going to keep this weighed down a bit. So it's better to have this or have some length to go from long and then longer, even if you want to go, say this length and then longer in the back, but you need to have some sort of length in the front. Now, if, for example, you want to have a hairstyle that you want to have more spiked up and more textured, then obviously this hair length is not going to be right for you. This is what's going to happen all day long. The hair is going to fall just flat in your face like this, all right? Again, this is no product in it, so a quick little tip or trick for this is to spray a little Tidal Wave right here. Spray some Tidal Wave into it while it's dry, and it's going to help give it some texture. It's going to help the hair stay back a bit more, which is what's great. Now, if you have obviously a shorter hairstyle, let's take this mannequin right here, for example. If you want to have a shorter hairstyle, like so, you want to spike it up a bit in the front here. Well, what's going to be the best hair length? If we look at the side here, you can see this is significantly longer than the rest of this, okay? This is a look, it's a style. So if you want to have some sort of, again, focal point where the hair has some sort of, focal point in the front, then you have to do that by making sure it's a bit longer in the front. If this was much shorter and matched this length in through here, chances are it's not going to look as, it's not going to have that look or that focal point as this does. It's just going to end up being, your pretty typical common textured, short, spiked up hairstyle. This, again, as I mentioned before, the reason it has such a cool kind of look is because the front is a lot longer and it goes shorter to longer. How do you get this look? Well, the person cutting your hair needs to understand that they have to go shorter here and then over direct. So a professional term and method of getting and keeping the hair longer is when you get to a certain point in the haircut, you need to start over directing, which means you start pulling the hair from the very front all the way back to a section like back here and then cut it. So it blends with everything else, but then it leaves it a lot longer. So wherever you pull this hair, the further back, that's where it's going to drop forward, okay? If I cut all this really, really short to match this, like if I were to cut all this hair off to match the rest of it, the length would be to like here. So I over direct or pull back to where I want to start going shorter to longer and working into the front. And by doing that, it's going to maintain the length. This is something, especially if you're a hairdresser or barber, you need to understand. But also, if you are someone like you're a client and a customer and you're going to a barber shop or going to a salon and you're like trying to explain to them like, oh, I want to keep it longer in the front, and you see them take this chunk and all of a sudden they go, whoosh. You're like, what are you doing? Stop them in the middle of, or before they even cut, okay? If you see them grab a big chunk of hair, you say, wait, can you over direct that or pull it back a bit? But honestly, most likely, if they don't even know how to do that, you're not going to the right person. I'm going to be honest with you. They will screw your hair up and you're paying for a service. Let me know in the comments below, please, if you wanted to have a style like this or even something like this where you wanted to have some length in the front and they actually ended up cutting the length in the front, which screwed the whole haircut up and it was very unbalanced. Let me know in the comments below if this has happened to you. Also, let me know if you have somebody who actually understands this and you found the right length for your hairstyle. I'd love to hear I'd love to see a ton of interactions and engagement from all of you. It really means a lot. Also, if you're interested in purchasing Tidal Wave or any of my products, use code YouTube20 at shop.thesalonguy.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.